Tony Hernandez Pumarejo, writer and author, professional and motivational speaker, TV presenter, life coach, an international ambassador for autism and mental health. He is proud to invite you to his podcast, My Time, with Tony Hernandez Pumarejo.
Hi, and welcome to this new episode of My Time with Tony Hernandez Pumarejo. And this is your host, Tony Hernandez Pumarejo. And I'm truly grateful to you to participate, either watching me or listening to me in this podcast. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my podcast, subscribing on my YouTube channel, Tony Hernandez Pumarejo. You can also subscribe in different platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, and many others. And if you also haven't done so yet, please follow me in all my social media platforms. And I greatly appreciate all your support, especially, relaunching the podcast a couple weeks ago, the feedback, the comments and the support that I received, especially since the relaunch has been amazing. And I want to thank you all for your support, because without your support, I would not be here right now. And today I have a very important guest. For me, the most important guest of them all, and that's you, the guest. You who listen or watch my podcast, you who has supported my work throughout the years that I've been doing this for autism, special needs, and other causes in which I believe in. I'm truly grateful for your support, and I think that for if somebody comes to me in terms of how I would describe this year, I can be this. It can be described in just one word: gratitude. And I'm gonna explain as to why I describe this year, 2023, as gratitude. This is the end of the year episode for My Time. This is going to be more of a reflection. I'm going to share my thoughts, about what has this year been for me, and so to share my perspectives, the things that I was not able to do, the things that I did, what I learned, what I continue to learn, and hopefully you learn something for this, and you can apply to your life in preparation for the new year 2024. So again, thank you so much. In terms of when we start a new year, each of us have what is called expectations. We put our goals, or the most famous one, New Year's resolutions in all areas of our life. Things we want to get: a new job, buy a house, get a girlfriend, especially the one in relates to in terms of health, getting fit, lose weight, eat healthier, get more money, some of those goals and resolutions. I personally steer away from the resolutions. I've been doing that at least for a couple years, and my focus has been on goals. My life goals, my long term, my short term goals, my vision of life. And that's what I've been working, what I've been trying, what I've been working on for many years to get to those goals. So I look in terms of how I have progressed towards those goals each year. And the key here to remember is that the goals in your life are not going to be exactly the same. They may be, but it is not always the case, because as life goes on, as you grow up, your perspective of life changes, because you go to different experiences, positive and negative experiences, and circumstances in your life. For example, I set my first goals back in 2008, in fact, when I was in my last year of high school, and I set goals of things I wanted to do back then. And it's very, there's differences in compared to the goals that I have right now. Obviously, the main goal has always been the same: financial freedom, abundance, to live a life in which of independence and abundance, and I can be a provider. and take care of the people that I love, that my family, community, and continue to make the difference. Travel the world. That's been a goal that I've had with me since forever, and that's a goal in which, and I've been working on to find a way to create a position or a job that will help me to go to more places, to more countries around the world, and and yes, relationship goals, which I have to be honest, I've not been successful as of yet. The love of my life, my girlfriend hasn't arrived yet, but it's been a process. As I said, I set different goals, and those goals have evolved. For example, 10, 12 years ago, I didn't have a goal in which I was going to appear on television, or I was going to have a segment on television. I didn't expect that until 2019, which when my book was released, I did my first ever interview on television. So as using that as an example, so life is changing, but the principles, the values that you carry are for you for life, and that's the most important. And I have expectations for this year, and I can say that this year was mostly ups and downs. Maybe that's very common to hear. But an area which I struggled the most this year was my relationships with people. In business, in friendship, in life. The relationships that I have with people. Since becoming after since appearing on television a couple years ago, I gained more people. I met more people in my life, and I'm trying to do collaborations for businesses, causes for art, especially autism, and I'm trying to make friends. I mean, the thing that I've always wanted the most is to have great friends, and obviously to get better myself as a true friend. But I realized that when things are tough, unfortunately some of those people didn't show up at all, and that disappointed me. And I think it's very common to hear, but it hurts. I mean, it hurt my self-esteem, and I had to realize, and technically what happened is that I forgot a lesson that I thought that I have learned many years ago in my life, but unfortunately I failed in that lesson, which was to don't have expectations of people. No expectations, no disappointments. And I put too much expectations on different people, and that was a mistake. I mean, that was an error from my end. I cannot blame the other person or held the other person responsible for not being a true friend, because I didn't set the boundaries. I was not strong enough and to be able to be clear in terms of boundaries, and I let myself lower my self-esteem so that way I can get the attention of different people that I thought that were friends or could be friends, and I failed in that. And as a result of that, I pay a price this year. And I'm always trying to be the best person I can be. Not perfect with my defects as a human being, but try to be the best person that I can be for a friend. And and making friends and only making friends, but maintaining long-term friendships has always been a problem or a challenge for me. I can sure mention this is related to autism or Asperger. I was first diagnosed with autism and then Asperger or high functioning autism, in which the big challenge is that people on the autism spectrum have difficulties in terms of interaction or relationships with other people. That could be, but I don't want to blame autism or Asperger or any condition for the struggles that I had in making friends. I have responsibility too, and I always struggle. Okay, what I had to do to keep friendships, or am I looking for the right type of people in my life in friendships? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And that's something that I've struggled with for years. Is it something within me? And yes, I had to find ways to get better. And I know that making friends is not easy, even for a person, normal person. Especially as you grow older, especially after college, it gets more difficult to make friends and to keep friends because different people, all of us go to different journeys in life. I mean, people move to other countries, other places, you know, but other people, most people, they get married, they start a family, and their focus is their family, and and they have difficulties in making, making time for friends, career, especially here in the U.S. I mean, we're a career-driven, place, and we can get busy. I mean, that's like, and I have people that I care about, that I deeply care about, that we keep in touch, even though we have busy lives. So I believe that sometimes being busy, it depends. I mean, it depends on how committed you are. It depends on the bond with other persons. So that's the key. I have one friend who I've known for years, 7 years, in fact. She also, she's married and she has her business, but we always keep in touch, and that's something that is not easy to do. And I'm the first one to see it. But that's one thing. Another thing is, if you put in the effort and there's no response, or the person calls you, if you only need something, that I don't see that's being right. I think that's more of a transaction, which unfortunately, and I accept responsibility. I fail, and I create a lot of transactions instead of friendships, and I'm paying the price for that. I mean, I'm paying the price for that, and that's a lesson that I'm learning the hard way, and trying to find ways to differentiate between collaboration, business, and friendship. That's the most important thing. And yeah, and it's been, struggles. A lot of times I felt alone. This is not new. Sometimes I didn't have these people for a certain project, and you know I felt a lot of times burnout. I did this on another episode, the last episode, in fact, of the podcast. I talk about burnout. I mean, being tired, always people reaching out to me only if they need something, burnout with social media, autism advocacy. I felt like, when I do videos, I feel like I'm not being true to myself, because people may see, you're happy, you're successful, you have everything, but they don't know what you're going through behind the scenes. And a lot of times, since I don't have a deep connection with somebody, I feel like this, then it makes me more difficult and gets me depressed to, I won't, I always say, something that's truly valuable is to have somebody there that can listen and to understand in life. That's truly valuable. A lot of times I don't feel like I have that. Don't get me wrong. I have people that I care about. I'm grateful to have them in my life, but sometimes, sometimes I feel like they may not understand me, or what I'm going through. And that's the reason why I can feel alone. And other people, of course, they only reach out to me if they need something. And other people that have left life for different reasons. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, in terms of my relationships with people, the only person who's responsible for my well-being and happiness is myself. And I had to be better. I had to find ways to be a better person each day, to the best of my ability, with my faults, and that's all I can do. And obviously, have trust in the most important being in my life, which is God. An area of faith which, I have not been able to go too much to church recently. That doesn't mean that, I stopped praying and believing in God. I believe in God right now more than ever. I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, and Christ, is my friend. Jesus is my friend, the only true friend, most important friend that I have in this world. And I pray, pray to Him, and praying for everybody, my friends, my family, of course, community, and this world. I pray, and that His will is gets done. Just trying to do the best I can each day to fulfill the mission, to do the purpose that He has for me in this world, and that for me is the most important thing of all of this. And and yes, I'm just reflecting because I feel like right now, because I mentioned that I have different goals. I feel like a failure sometimes, because I feel like in some areas, I'm in the same position that I've always been in terms of making friends, not able to keep friendships. And also, not only that, but in terms of finances, not be able to have a higher income that I have right now. And, it's my responsibility because I screwed up. You know, I screw up in so many things that I frustrate myself. I get very frustrated, get hard on myself, um, and and those are things that I struggle with. The low self esteem, um, letting others set a value on me and who I am as a human being, and just trying to do the best I can each day. And that's something I struggle with, especially this year. And I always, my goal right now in life is, especially the last couple, weeks and months, have been to find myself, to know who is there for you in the good and the bad times. Know who you know who you look for in terms of friends. Um, as you know, and I've been to personal development since I've been age 20, and this has been said to different leaders of personal development, different story, different studies. But according, to one of my mentors, he said one time that you're the average of the five people that surround you in your life, that you hang out with or you are with in your life. And for example, if you're in a group of people in which all they do is party, they drink, and they don't work, then that's going to influence your life. If you're in a group of people in which they're overweight, they don't take care of themselves health wise, that's going to impact in your life. But if you're in a group of people that that they have fun, don't get me wrong, they have fun, and I'm not discriminating against all those people. But if you're in a group of people that are persevering, they are faith based, they have God first in their lives, and that they don't settle, they go above to be able to achieve those goals, then those are the people that I'm looking forward to be, excuse me, to be with. Those are the people that I wanted to be with, and that's what I'm looking for. And I need to work, but I need to improve myself to be a better friend, a better human being each day. Um, Recognize the things that I have done and be grateful for the experiences, good and bad. That for me is the most important thing of them all. And yeah, that's something that I sometimes something I struggle with is sometimes I feel like this year's been a failure. Other times I feel like it's been a success because I've done different good things in this year. I mean, I have expanded my work in the autism community. I have opened a new podcast for autism through Autism Speaks in Spanish, in which I was able to interview top, people, not only in autism, but also in society. The political leaders from Congress, Puerto Rico, the resident commissioner of Puerto Rico, and also so far, definitely, so far, the highest profile interview that I had so far has been with Anuel Double A or Anuel Double A, which I even released recently. We published it a couple weeks ago, the unedited edition of the interview with Anuel Double A, and it was tremendous. I got to almost so far 84,000 views, and I never got that so many views, and it was truly amazing. I got more subscriptions to my channel. Like be able to meet different people this year, different collaborations. um Obviously I'm trying to do different things to get to my goals, take care of myself, health wise, eat better, exercise, be a better person. Trying to learn a new language right now, Portuguese, which I started a couple weeks ago. Just trying to find everything to get to what I want to be in life. And for me, the most important thing is that as long as it's God's will, that's the most important, because I'm just trying to do His will each day. And that for me is the most important thing of all. And that's something I wanted to share with all of you in this podcast so far. And yes, the places I've traveled, I wish I would have traveled to other countries, but I traveled to New York for the first time, New Jersey, Puerto Rico for my mom's 60th birthday. So it's been ups and downs, different situations, but if you can describe me this year has been it's been I would have called it a process. I would describe it this year, but I will call it gratitude. And I'm grateful for all the experiences that I had in my life, especially this year, and how to move forward in my life. But again, it's been, right now I cannot give up. I'm alive. I have one day here, and my focus is to get to what my God wants me to get. So, I'm trying to get ahead. I'm trying to pay off my debt. I just finished paying off my student loan. More, taking care of myself, and more important of all, trying. There was something that I've been trying to work on, which is something that I struggle with not only this year but throughout many years, which is a something that has negatively impacted my life, in especially the sense, the area of pleasure. And it's been an addiction that I haven't talked about publicly. Um, it's not drugs, it's not alcohol, so no worries. But it is something that's hurt really, has this hurt me, destroyed my self-esteem and my health. And I stopped doing that recently, and I'm trying to work on getting better in that. I'm not going to say exactly what it is. I would like me. I will talk about that in some other time when I'm more comfortable. But that's something that I believe has been the reason as to why, perhaps I'm not saying it is the reason, could be, but I feel like that's the reason why I'm not being in a relationship. So far, one of the things. There's many other things, but one of the things that caused me not to be in a relationship, and I'm trying to get better in that. Dealing with frustration with the FMO, which is fear of missing out, that you're missing out the travels, envy, social media. That's another addiction as well, social media. That's an area that I need to get better, because we see the best stories, the highlights in social media, and in society in general. But there's so much that I can do, and this is where I am right now. All the decisions that I made got me to this point, good and bad. And my focus is right now how to get to where I need to be. That's it. And the other relationships, the love of my life hasn't come yet, but I had to get better. I had to love myself to be the best person that I can be in a relationship, as a boyfriend and potential husband. And same with friendship and relationship as well. And that's what I need to focus on, and not just talk about this, but to do it in action. For example, another thing that I had to work on better, had to be more outspoken, less fear about talking about the things that we believe in, especially as we get to this year 2024. A lot of times I talk about different issues impacting our world, the issues that may seem controversial, but this reality, what is happening. And some people say, oh, that you like politics and all, but these are issues that are impacting our society. The war, education, health, divisions in society, the attack on children, to education, to gender, to attacking gender ideology, which again, I'm not against the LGBTQ community, but the attacks on children, the divisions, the attacks against life, um, the corruption in government, in media, especially what happened in the medical field, the interest, especially after COVID, what's happening with the pandemic, the vaccines, a lot of things, politics. I mean, there's a lot going on, which is making our world more stressful, especially here in the U.S., especially in the U.S. with an election coming up, a presidential election, which there's a lot of stakes are high. We don't know what's going to happen. Those are things I want to talk about more, too. But I think that, and we have the media, pitting us against each other, division everywhere, and there's different challenges around the world right now, and very tough situations. The situation of mental health, the mental health crisis, that is happening in different parts of the world, human trafficking. the violence, the wars, and they're happening in different parts of the world. Different things going on. And I need to be more outspoken about this, and no matter what other people say. And I'm going to be more spoken about this, whether you agree or not, because I don't want you to agree with me or not. I want you to do your research, to think for yourself, and that's it. Oh, and let's not forget about autism. I mean, what's next for autism? A lot of things. Sometimes I feel like we are right now on a plateau in regards to autism awareness, acceptance, but with the languages, neurodivergent, first person, third person, the therapies, this is bad therapy, identity, a lot of things that divide the autism cause that I'm getting sick of it, sick of that crap. And I had to be blunt like this, but it's the reality. We need to talk about that for autism as we move in 2024. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about that, about the dark sides of autism. We're going to talk about the good sides, don't worry, because autism has a wonderful things, but there's dark sides as well. We need to talk about that. And we're going to hit hard in this podcast. And I always, not only this is not new, I've always asked people to think for themselves, to think for themselves. And yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do as an autistic self advocate through my work. And yeah, those are things I wanted to share. I mean, I can spend here hours. I just wanted to give you my perspective, what I've gone through up to this point and how to move forward as we start a new year. But despite everything, I'm very confident in the future. And the thing here is to never give up, to never give up in achieving your dreams in life. So, in regards to projects, again, expand the podcast. I appreciate and I love all that, especially those that have supported me throughout the years. And I want to greatly appreciate the support. Projects. My podcast, my speaking engagements, my consulting. I want to write my second book eventually. Expand my work with my autism organizations and do other things in life. I had to do some, I want to do so many things, as I mentioned, of course, like learning a language. But I think the challenge is to be a better friend, to be a better person, to be in, to get the, to be in the right relationship with the woman of my dreams. And, um, and yeah, there's a couple of things coming up and travel. I travel to more places. So I have so many things I want to do. And I think that, despite what's happening, there's great opportunities. I believe that the future is bright and that the most important thing is to not give up. That's the most important thing. And don't get me wrong, I've been through the negative, gloomy, doom side conspiracy theories, side before. So, but I know people can get frustrated. And I talked about this before with everything that's going on. But at the end of the day, you can take care of yourself first. You have to be the change that you want to see in this world first. You need to start with yourself, then your family, then your friends, and your community. Wherever you are in the world, regardless of who you are, where you are, your sex, religion, ethnicity, cultural background, no matter who you are, you can start from where you are to make that difference in the world. And that's where you start. Get educated about the different topics, collaborate, meet the other friends, and have fun. And that's one thing I want to do more is to have fun in my life. Smile, that's what I want to do. So yeah, I just want to share this as we conclude the year. I was still debating as to whether I wanted to do a video or to write a blog about the end of the year. But I just have difficulties in writing blogs. Recently I need to really push hard in writing blogs, and yeah, so many things, and yeah, continue to fight every day. So I just want to leave this final message before we end the year. Regardless of who you are, if you're watching me or you're listening to me, this may not have been the best year of your life, or maybe it was the best year of your life. Maybe it's been ups and downs for you, your family, your loved ones. Maybe you lost a job. You were not able to get that position, or you have a difficult situation in your life, divorce, losing especially losing a loved one. Whoever you are that you've gone through this year, I just wanted to say that there's hope. That no matter what's happened, there's always hope. And I ask you to put in faith in God, because we need to put trust in Him. He's there for us. He will never leave us. It will always be with us. And my message for this year is, to reflect, focus on what you have done, grateful for the experiences as you move forward to the new year. And I just wanted to wish you and your family and your loved ones the very best in this new year 2024. We got this. I think let's make 2024 the best year of our lives. And I'm here for you. Any questions, any comments? Please subscribe to my podcast, to all the platforms. And thank you all for your support. And again, I just wanted to share this perspective, and let's go for it. Let's make it 2024 great. So thank you so much for being able to participate in this episode of My Time with Tony Hernandez Pumarejo. And I wish you and your family a prosperous, healthy, and wonderful New Year 2024. So thank you so much, and you have a wonderful night, afternoon, or good morning, whenever time you're watching this podcast or listening. So God bless you. God bless your family. Until next time. Bye bye.
Well, this is the end of another episode of My Time with Tony Hernandez Pumarejo. Tony hopes you liked it. If you'd like to learn more about the work Tony does, subscribe to him on his social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, which is now X, and his LinkedIn page. You can also follow Tony on his website at tonyhernandezpumarejo.com. Also, if you are interested in getting a copy of his book, An Autism Unscripted Life, you can purchase it on Amazon or any book-selling platform. You can also obtain a copy through his website. So, until the next time you meet, thank you and have a wonderful day. Blessings.